Have you ever had that strange feeling that there's more to you than meets the eye? Like deep down, behind your daily routine, and the way you present yourself to the world, there's another version of you, hidden, waiting to be understood? Maybe you've wondered why you act a certain way in relationships, why some situations drain you while others light you up, or why you feel torn between who you are and who you think you're supposed to be. Carl Jung, one of the most brilliant minds in psychology, believed the answer lies in something called archetypes. These are universal patterns, almost like characters, that live within all of us. Think of them as hidden blueprints of the human mind. Each archetype has its own voice, its own strengths, and yes, its own shadows. And when you begin to recognize them inside yourself, it feels like you're finally meeting the real you for the very first time. Today, we're going to explore 7 of these archetypes that Jung believed could reveal your true self. The innocent, the hero, the caregiver, the explorer, the rebel, the lover, and the sage. As we go through each one, you might start noticing moments in your own life where these archetypes show up, sometimes in ways you've never realized before. And trust me, once you see it, you can't unsee it. It changes the way you understand yourself and even the people around you. So if you've ever asked yourself, who am I really? Or why do I keep repeating certain patterns in life? This video is going to open some doors you didn't even know existed. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Because the truth is, discovering yourself isn't something you do once. It's a lifelong journey. And on this channel, we keep peeling back the layers together. So subscribe now, stay curious, and let's begin the journey into your hidden self. The first archetype we need to meet is the innocent. Now, the very word itself paints a picture, doesn't it? You can almost imagine a child looking at the world with wide, curious eyes, full of trust, hope, and a belief that life is meant to be good. The innocent inside you is that pure, unspoiled part of your personality. It's a voice that whispers, everything will be okay, even when life feels uncertain. The innocent carries traits of purity, optimism, and faith. It longs for safety and simplicity. It wants life to be good, straightforward, and full of joy. When this archetype is shining brightly in you, it gives you the ability to see the beauty in small things. The way sunlight filters through a window, the laughter of a loved one, or even the simple comfort of a familiar routine. You naturally bring light into the world because you believe in goodness, and that belief inspires others to do the same. But every archetype has 2 sides, and the innocent is no different. The strength of hope and positivity can sometimes turn into naivety. The innocent might avoid reality when it feels too heavy, pretending problems don't exist, or convincing themselves that if they ignore the darkness, it will just go away. This shadow side can show up as denial, avoidance, or a refusal to see things as they are. And while that can protect you from pain for a while, in the long run, it can stop you from truly growing. Think about the people you know who always see the glass as half full, no matter what. Maybe that's you. Maybe you're the one who looks at the world with a sense of wonder that others have long forgotten. Some might call you naive, but in truth, you carry a kind of childlike optimism that the world desperately needs. So let me ask you, do you sometimes feel like you see the world through hopeful eyes, even when others call you naive? If that feels like you, then chances are the innocent archetype lives strongly within you. And as we move through these archetypes, keep asking yourself, which one feels like home? Which one feels like me? Because by the end of this video, you'll have a clearer picture of the hidden characters shaping your life. And hey, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the rest of this journey. The second archetype is the hero. And I'm sure the word alone already stirs something inside you. The hero is that part of us that rises up when life challenges us, the part that refuses to back down no matter how steep the climb may be. The hero archetype lives on courage, determination, and the willingness to fight for what's right. When the hero is strong within you, you have an inner fire that pushes you forward, even when the odds are against you. You take setbacks as challenges, not as endings. The hero is resilient, it falls, it gets back up, and it keeps fighting. And because of this, people look at you as an example, as someone who inspires them. The hero achieves not just for personal glory, but because achievement itself feels like proof of strength, proof of worth. Think about the cultural heroes we admire, figures in history, sports, or even in our personal lives. They're the ones who fought against impossible odds, who gave us the courage to believe in ourselves. But here's the thing. You don't need to be on a battlefield or a championship stage to live the hero archetype. It can be as simple as fighting through personal struggles, standing up for your family, or conquering challenges that no one else even sees. But of course, the hero has a shadow side. The same drive that makes the hero strong can also become destructive. The hero can become obsessed with proving itself, turning every situation into a competition. That determination can slip into arrogance, a refusal to accept help, or a belief that rest equals weakness. And when that happens, burnout is never far behind. The hero can win battles, but if it doesn't balance strength with humility, it risks losing itself. So let me ask you, do you push yourself to prove your worth? Do you feel like life is a constant test, one where you have to win, no matter what? If you do, then the hero is likely alive and well within you. And remember, each archetype isn't about good or bad. It's about understanding. The hero can give you courage when you need it most, but it also reminds you to temper that strength with balance. If this resonates with you so far, don't forget to subscribe, because as we move forward, you're going to see even more reflections of yourself in these archetypes. And trust me, by the end, you'll have a much clearer picture of your true self. Archetype 3, the caregiver. Now let's talk about the caregiver. If the hero fights battles, the caregiver heals wounds. This archetype is all about compassion, nurturing, and generosity. It shows up as the part of you that feels happiest when you're giving, supporting, and making sure others are okay. The caregiver's strengths are powerful. It brings selflessness, deep empathy, and loyalty. The people with a strong caregiver archetype are the ones you can count on when times get hard. They'll sit with you through your pain. They'll sacrifice their own comfort to make sure you're cared for. And they'll stay true when others walk away. Think of parental figures, teachers who go beyond their duties, or community healers, people whose very presence feels like a warm embrace. But just like all archetypes, there's a shadow side. The caregiver can give so much to others that they forget to care for themselves. They can slip into martyrdom, believing that their suffering is somehow noble or necessary. They may neglect their own needs entirely, or worse, guilt trip others when their sacrifices go unnoticed. And in the long run, this imbalance can lead to exhaustion, bitterness, or quiet resentment. So here's the curiosity hook I want to leave you with. What happens when the caregiver forgets to care for themselves? When giving becomes a burden instead of a joy? If you've ever found yourself drained from always being the strong one for everyone else, then you already know how heavy this archetype can feel. And if this sounds familiar, pause for a moment and recognize it. Because learning about your archetypes isn't about judgment. It's about awareness. By noticing when you're giving too much, you create space to love others while still honoring yourself. And hey, if you're finding these insights helpful, don't forget to subscribe because we're only halfway through, and the journey into your hidden self is just getting more fascinating. Archetype for the explorer. Now, after the gentle energy of the caregiver, we shift to something very different, the explorer. This archetype lives and breathes freedom, curiosity, and independence. If you've ever felt the urge to break free from routine, to go beyond the familiar, or to discover what lies just around the corner, then the explorer is alive in you. The strengths of the explorer are inspiring. It leads to discovery, personal growth, and a life of authenticity. Explorers are seekers. They don't just accept the answers handed to them. They go out and find their own truth. This archetype brings a sense of adventure to life, whether that's through traveling to new places, diving into new knowledge, or even exploring the uncharted corners of their own inner world. But the explorer also carries a shadow. That longing for freedom can turn into restlessness. The search for independence can create loneliness. And the constant pursuit of the new can make commitment, whether to people, places, or paths, feel suffocating. The explorer may start to feel like they're always running, never arriving, forever chasing something they can't quite name. Think of adventurers, travelers, or even philosophers, people who cannot settle because they know there's more out there to discover. They inspire us, but they also remind us of the cost of always searching. So let me ask you, do you often feel trapped when life becomes too predictable? Do you crave change when things start to feel routine? If so, then your inner explorer is knocking at the door. And the beauty of recognizing this archetype is learning how to balance it, finding ways to keep curiosity alive while also embracing stability when you need it. If this resonates, make sure you're subscribed, because we're about to go even deeper into archetypes that might surprise you. You may just discover the one that explains your hidden drives more than anything. Archetype 5, the rebel. Now let's dive into one of the most electrifying archetypes, the rebel. This is the part of you that breaks rules, questions authority, and refuses to accept things just because that's how it's always been done. The rebel doesn't just see what is, it sees what could be. The strengths of the rebel are powerful and world-changing. It brings courage to disrupt the status quo, the vision to imagine something new, and the independence to stand firm even when everyone else is going along with the crowd. Think about revolutionaries, disruptors, and nonconformists, the ones who shake the system and spark movements. They are the living embodiment of this archetype. Without rebels, society would never evolve. But, of course, the rebel comes with a shadow. That same fire that drives change can also burn everything down without purpose. The rebel's refusal to conform can slide into destruction for its own sake, fueled by anger or frustration. This archetype can alienate others, leaving the rebel isolated, misunderstood, or feared. At its worst, rebellion without vision creates chaos rather than progress. Still, the rebel is necessary. Every great transformation in history, from social justice to art to technology, has been sparked by someone willing to say, "No, this isn't good enough. There's a better way." So let me ask you, do you find yourself resisting traditions, even when others accept them blindly? Do you sometimes feel like you just can't go along with the crowd, no matter how much easier it would be? If you're nodding your head right now, then the rebel lives inside you. And remember, you don't need to be leading a revolution to embrace this archetype. Even small acts of questioning, of saying no when something feels wrong, are expressions of your inner rebel. If this part of you resonates, stick with me and subscribe, because we're not done yet. The next archetype is the complete opposite of the rebel's fire. It's about connection, intimacy, and love. Archetype 6, the lover. Now, let's slow down and step into the soft, glowing energy of the lover. This archetype is all about passion, intimacy, and connection. The lover craves beauty, romance, and depth in every part of life. It's not only about romantic love. It's about being deeply moved by art, by people, by experiences. Lovers see the world through a lens of appreciation and warmth. The strengths of the lover are profound. This archetype brings commitment, devotion, and the ability to create bonds that are rich and lasting. Lovers are often warm, creative, and magnetic because they remind us of what it feels like to be truly seen and cherished. They're the artists, the romantics, the people who find beauty in the simplest details, the curve of a leaf, the softness of a song, the quiet smile of someone they care about. But, like all archetypes, the lover has a shadow. The same passion that brings closeness can also turn into jealousy over dependence and fear of loss. Lovers can cling too tightly, afraid of letting go, or they may measure their worth only through the love they receive. The shadow takes over. Love becomes possession instead of connection. And yet, the lover's essence is one of the most beautiful gifts we can embody. It reminds us that life isn't just about achievement or survival. It's about depth, about experiencing moments that make our hearts swell. So here's my question for you. Do you long for connection so deeply that it sometimes overwhelms you? Have you ever felt both the beauty and the ache of loving so much that it almost hurts? If you have, then you've touched the heart of the lover archetype. And if this resonates, make sure to subscribe, because we're heading to the final archetype, the one that ties together wisdom, mystery, and transformation. It's the archetype that Carl Jung himself saw as essential for true self-discovery. Archetype 7, the sage. Finally, we arrive at the 7th archetype, the sage. If the rebel sets fire to the old and the lover pours warmth into the world, the sage sits quietly and seeks truth. This archetype is all about wisdom, knowledge, and clarity. The sage looks beyond appearances, always asking, what is really true? The sage's strengths are profound. They bring insight, perspective, and guidance. They can take complex, confusing experiences and distill them into clear wisdom that helps others see the bigger picture. Philosophers, teachers, spiritual guides. These are the classic expressions of the sage archetype. When we meet a true sage, we feel like we're in the presence of someone who has lived deeply and thought carefully, someone whose words carry weight because they emerge from reflection. But every light has its shadow. The sage, for all their wisdom, can sometimes become trapped in endless overthinking. They may detach from life, hiding in books or theories instead of experiences. At its extreme, this archetype falls into paralysis by analysis, knowing so much, seeing so many possibilities that taking action feels impossible. And yet, the sage is crucial, because without wisdom, all the passion, rebellion, and heroism in the world could spin out of control. The sage balances the other archetypes, reminding us to slow down, to reflect, and to search for meaning in the chaos. So let me ask you, are you the one people always turn to for advice? Do friends come to you when they're lost, knowing you'll see what they can't? If that sounds familiar, then the sage is alive in you. And if this part resonates, make sure to subscribe, because while the sage is our final archetype, the journey doesn't end here. What truly matters is how these archetypes connect. And now that we've explored all 7 archetypes, here's something important to remember. You are not just one of them. We each carry a mix of these energies within us. Sometimes one is stronger, more dominant, and shapes how we move through life. Other times, a different archetype rises to the surface, depending on the season of our life or the challenges we face. Think about it. When you were a child, maybe your innocent archetype shined the brightest, full of wonder and optimism. Later, perhaps the hero emerged as you worked to prove yourself and overcome obstacles. At another stage, the caregiver or lover may have become dominant as relationships deepened and connection grew. Life has a way of shifting these archetypes around, almost like chapters in a book, each revealing a different part of who we are. The key is balance. Every archetype has strengths that can empower us and shadows that can limit us. Ignoring one side can leave us stuck, but embracing both gives us wholeness. Jung believed that true self-discovery comes when we stop pretending we are just one fixed identity and instead recognize the many layers within us. That's why understanding your archetypes isn't just fascinating. It's freeing. It gives you permission to be more than one thing, to honor the hero inside you without silencing the lover, to listen to the sage while still letting the rebel stir things up. So don't box yourself in. Instead, ask which archetypes are active in me right now. Which ones am I ignoring? And how can I bring them into balance? So, let's take a moment to reflect. We've journeyed through the innocent, with its hopeful faith, the hero with unstoppable determination, the caregiver with its nurturing heart, the explorer with its hunger for freedom, the rebel with its fire for change, the lover with its passion and connection, and finally, the sage with wisdom and clarity. Together, these 7 archetypes are like a map of the human soul. Discovering your dominant archetype can be a powerful way to reveal your authentic self, to understand why you act, love, struggle, and dream the way you do. But here's the real question. Which archetype do you feel most connected to right now? Maybe you've seen yourself in the rebel, refusing to follow the crowd. Or maybe you felt the lover's longing, or the sage's wisdom. Whatever it is, your reflection is the start of self-discovery, and I'd love to hear from you. Comment below with the archetype that feels most alive in you. I'll be reading every response. Let's build a space where we can learn from each other's journeys. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Carl Jung's psychology, don't forget to hit subscribe. That way, you won't miss future explorations into the hidden sides of the mind. Together, we'll keep uncovering the layers of who we are and how we grow. So which archetype speaks to your soul? Take a moment to think about it, and I'll see you in the next video.